I don't know about you, but I'm someone who can't really function well in a cluttered environment. Even though I tend to make a mess and throw things here and there and leave them until further notice, but whenever the time comes and I have to do any sort of work or be productive, the first thing that I do is try to reorganize everything around me. And that doesn't only mean my apartment, clothes, books, and the hookah. Well, actually, scratch that one. It's not mine. I don't smoke. But what I was trying to say is that decluttering doesn't only stop on the physical things. You see, with the tremendous increase of technology and how we use it these days, I think we can all agree and confidently say that it is included in more than 50% of our daily life. And with that understanding, I realized how important it is to keep my digital consuming minimal and well organized. I'm someone who has 7 pages on his phone filled with different apps that only God knows what's on them, because personally, I lost track and I don't know anymore. Like seriously, who is Johnny Trigger and what is he doing on my phone? And it's not just that, but the lack of organization in my files, emails, and pretty much everything that I use on the internet is haunting me and triggering my OCD. It is only a short amount of time until you realize that the more you let something like this build up slowly, it becomes harder and harder for you to solve it in the end. So for that reason, I decided to share with you my not so minimalistic digital declutter. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so before we start, I need to clarify something, and I know you already heard me say it, but the reason why I call this a not so minimalistic digital declutter is because I'm not really going for the minimalistic approach here. I feel like a lot of people have their own assumptions on what is considered minimalistic and what isn't. Some people fancy an empty screen on a laptop with nothing on it and just a blank page. I personally don't. I would like to go with this the way I think it would be most efficient and most productive for me, so it might be different than what people usually consider minimalistic, and it might be the same thing in the end, but I don't really want to give it the title of being minimalistic, and that is my reasoning. I will definitely try to make it as minimal and as productive as possible, but whether you call that minimalistic or not is really up to you, and I don't really care about that. So with that being out of the way, let's get right into it. First of all, here are the devices that I use in my daily life. I have an iPad that I use primarily for my university. I put my books and notes on there, and I use this device mainly for learning, but I haven't been using it much lately because it's been replaced with my second device, which is the MacBook Pro. This is an absolute amazing beast of a machine. I use it now for university, streaming, editing videos and photos, and many other things. Third but not least, and the most common one with everyone, my phone. I have this device on me all the time, and I use the heck out of it. I use it for the same things I mentioned before in the previous devices and everything else you can do on a device, like scrolling through social media, texting, and etc. Now, here are a couple of things that I would like to declutter from these devices. My apps, emails, files or hard drives, social media, music, and photos. First of all, the apps. Apps could get really messy, and if you're someone like me and once you download an app, even if you don't use it anymore, it'll still live on your phone as long as you have storage for it. Well, yeah, that has to go now. There's 2 ways that you can go through with organizing apps. The first one is you can just go through your pages and delete all the apps that you haven't used in a while, or the apps that you feel like you won't use anytime soon either. And then after you do all of that, you can then take a look back on the apps that you kept and rearrange them the way you like them to look on your page. The second method is to just delete all the apps that you have on your phone, like literally all of them, and then try to download all the ones that you remember and the ones that you feel like you would use. Now, if you're afraid that you might forget an app and you won't remember that you have to download it, then you're most likely never gonna use it, because if it was important then you would probably remember it, but the fact that you didn't is probably a hint that this app should never be on your phone in the first place. So in this way, you're more likely to only have on your phone the apps that you remembered and the apps that you know for sure that are important, rather than seeing all the apps and having to decide individually whether you want to keep it or not. So probably this is the more efficient method, but I personally will go with the first one because it is just a little bit easier and it takes less time. Now, the email is something that could be really simple or very complex at the same time. It depends on what you're aiming to do with it. So if you're just trying to get rid of all the spam emails and all the ads that you get from websites that one time you bought one thing from them and then they keep on spamming you with all these emails, then it's a simple fix. Just go through all the emails that you know you don't want to have anymore and find the unsubscribe button and click on that. Just few clicks and they're gone forever. However, if you would like to go more in detail with it, then you can organize your email even more and kind of program it in a way where it only categorizes the important emails that you get from school, university, companies, or whatever it is that you get emails from. So basically it puts them in categories where you would know where each email lies, and it would be easier to deal with them. This one is pretty simple. I'm just gonna create files and put them on my desktop, and these files would technically rearrange everything for me and make it well organized and very simple for me to search for files or documents or whatever it is that I'm trying to search for. So for example, you can create a folder for university, one for work, one for editing photos, or etc. And then inside these folders, you would create subfolders that would categorize everything else that you want to put inside of them. And I'm going to do the same thing for my hard drive. I find this way really well organized and very simple and very quick for me whenever I want to search for anything. And I do believe that a lot of people already do the same thing. But if you don't, then make sure to consider it, because trust me, when you're searching for a file, especially when it's photos or videos and they don't have names, they're mainly just like numbers, and you don't know where the heck they are, it is absolutely a nightmare. So organizing these files and dumping these photos inside of them will make it really well organized and just a few clicks away from you finding them. There isn't much to say here other than deleting all the photos that you don't want anymore. I have tons of photos on my phone that are just screenshots from memes or uni-related materials, and I don't use them anymore and I don't need them anymore, but for some reason I always think that, oh well, maybe I will still need that screenshot from that physiology lecture, but trust me, I never do. And honestly, even if I wanted to find that photo, I know that I'm most likely never gonna find it throughout this mess, so I don't even bother searching for it. And that's why I just delete them and move on. Music is actually kind of personal, and you might not have to do this, but personally, when I first subscribed to Apple Music and I wanted to add music to my library, the first thing that I did was just add all the albums from artists that I used to listen to and assumed that all of their songs would be just awesome and cool. But then I quickly realized how uninterested I was in most of these songs. And trust me, there is nothing that hurts more than having music you don't want to listen to in your library. You will just be skipping the whole day. If you're on the bus, just skip. If you're in the car, just skipping. If you're studying, just skip. Everything, your whole life would be skipping. So that is something really important if you did the same mistake as mine. And yeah, so delete these songs, and I'm sorry to all the artists that will no longer live in my library. But speaking of music, if you have any cool song suggestions or any artists that you think are worthy of checking out, then let me know in the comments. I personally like to do covers, and most of the time I like to cover songs that are just have this acoustic vibe. So if you have any suggestions, then I would love to have them. And if you would like to check out some of the covers, then they should be somewhere either on my channel or my Instagram account. And now, speaking of Instagram, last but not least is decluttering social media. Now for social media, it's going to be a little bit different, and I will actually leave it for another video. And here's why. When I say I want to declutter social media, I actually mean I want to reduce the usage of it. So it's more of a physical thingy rather than it being digital or whatever. And so that's why I thought it would be better to leave this for another video where I would quit social media for 1 week maybe, and then document it and then show you how it went and all of the things that I did to make it easier for me to quit social media. Because trust me, it is not as easy as it sounds. And I know that 1 week, most of you will be commenting now that 1 week is not enough, and most people do this for 1 month, but I am someone who is really addicted to using his phone and using social media. So cutting that completely for 1 week is a big thing for me. And I do want to keep this realistic so that I know I can achieve it. And that's why I want to keep it to 1 week. Now, if during this 1 week I feel like I'm comfortable and I can go for longer, then I have no problem with doing that. So this will do it for this video. I now can rest knowing that my digital space is decluttered and well organized in a way that is most efficient, minimal, and productive. And you can apply that too to your devices if you wish. But if you have any other ideas that can help improve this that you would like to share with me or the people who are watching this video, then please consider leaving it in the comments down below. With that being said, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or got something out of it, then kindly consider giving it a like, subscribe to watch more videos like this in the future, and if you have a friend that you feel like would benefit from this video, then consider sharing it with them. Yep, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.